Hey everyone, today we're back with another comparison between two of my all-time favorites, the Aer Travel Pack 3 Small and the Evergoods CTB26 in their new Coyote Brown colorway. A couple of years ago, I named the Travel Pack 3 Small my favorite bag of the year, and last year, the CTB26 was my favorite bag of the year. So to say that it's a really close call between these two is quite an understatement. I've absolutely enjoyed using them both. They're some of the most full-featured and versatile bags that I've had the chance to test out. And I think that either one is going to be excellent, but there are some similarities and differences that may be worth noting if you're trying to decide between these two. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Before doing so, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall appearance, to me, these are two of the best looking bags that are currently on the market. Now, beauty of course is always in the eye of the beholder, but for my preferences, I tend to like a more minimal bag. I feel like they're just very versatile, and I think both of these fit that bill nicely. The style is a little bit different. The Aer aesthetic is generally more techy and sleek and modern, whereas Evergoods bags have a more subdued crossover look that's going to allow them to work well in the outdoors as well as in an urban setting. So I like the way both of these look. I've used them a bunch. I feel like the Aer bag might fit a little bit more into an office setting or if I'm trying to travel for work, whereas the CTB26 is definitely something I'd be a little bit more likely to take into the outdoors. Regardless, I've used both of these for all types of use cases. I've always felt comfortable. I think they work great for travel, for EDC, and it's really just going to come down to your particular style. As far as the materials, both bags feel very solidly built. The Travel Pack 3 Small is offered in a couple of different fabrics. The version that I have here is the 1680D ballistic nylon that I've been using for many years across a number of Aer's bags. It's always held up great. It feels very rugged. It offers a nice amount of weather resistance. I like how it looks. It's also offered in an X-Pack fabric, so if you want something that's going to give you a little bit more weather resistance or you like the texture that the X-Pack adds, that might be something to consider. The CTB26 is offered in a 420D high tenacity nylon. This is the same fabric that's used on the black version of the bag that I've featured in many videos over the past year. It's held up really well. I haven't had any issues with durability. And I really like that this material feels a little lighter. It's less rigid. So when the bag's not as packed out, it feels a little bit less bulky in my opinion, which I am a fan of. The 1680D feels more robust, a little bit thicker, maybe slightly more durable. But I feel like that also can add some weight to the bag, so it's something to keep in mind. But both of these have just held up well in all the different scenarios that I've used them for. I've traveled with them, and so that's been great to see. And then they have really nice YKK zippers all throughout. On the Aer bag, you have an aqua guard on a couple of the zippers, most notably the laptop compartment. If you get the X-Pack edition of the bag, I believe most of the zippers are going to be aqua guarded, and then on the CTB26 you don't have the aqua guards, but the zippers I believe do have some DWR coating, so with both of them you're going to get a great amount of weather resistance. Continuing along the outside of the bag, both of them have an external water bottle pocket. I do think that the CTB26 has an advantage here, first off because it has two, one on each side, but then the implementation of the water bottle pockets that Evergoods does is one of the best on the market. They just offer so much space. They're able to easily handle larger water bottles. The material feels very durable. They expand out, so they don't take up a ton of space from the main area of the bag. They also provide drainage, so if you happen to get caught in some rain or there's any spills, so they really just kind of cover their bases very well. When the pockets aren't in use, they hug the bag nicely. On Aer's bag, you have one water bottle pocket, and it has this ability to zip open and close, which is a cool idea. I tend to like that, especially if I'm traveling. I'm not generally carrying a huge water bottle, and so it's nice to be able to zip that away. It is a little bit of a shallower or maybe just not quite as robust compartment in my opinion, so if you place something a little bulkier, it might slide out or not go all the way down, so it's just not quite as easy to use or reliable as the Evergoods pockets, but still great to see that included. I'm still able to use it for, you know, the majority of the water bottles that I would grab on the road or for an umbrella or something like that. Aer does provide some additional functionality on the outside of their bags with the compression straps that they include. They have magnetic buckles to make them easy to get on and off. I know these aren't to everyone's liking, but so far I've had pretty good experiences with them, especially once Aer adjusted the placement of the compression straps. You can tighten the bag up, you can keep them secured and still access the main compartment, which is probably the most important thing. And then it is nice to have these not only to secure items to the outside of the bag, but also to compress it down when it's not quite as full so that it's a little bit more EDC friendly. And on one side of the Aer Travel Pack 3 Small, you have a little D-ring to clip on. That's where I place my hand sanitizer, a luggage tag, and then you have the compression straps on both sides, which is really nice. As far as handles, both of them have a really nice top handle. I'd probably give a little bit of an edge to Aer's handles. They have, the really cushioned seatbelt-like material. It's just really nice to grab at the top, whereas Evergoods are a little more minimal. They have the aluminum stays, they're very durable, but the edges can feel slightly sharp, particularly if the bag is loaded out. But, both of them work quite well. And then Aer has handles on each side of the bag, which is great, so you can hold it like a briefcase. If you need to load it into an overhead compartment, works very well. The CTB26 has one handle on the side, so you still have that ability to carry it like a briefcase. It just, is not gonna have the secondary handle that Aer's bag has, which isn't really a huge deal for me. Beyond that, the Evergoods CTB26 has a couple of attachment points near the handle, so still providing that functionality without feeling overwhelmingly technical, which is nice. And while we're talking about the outside, you can see that both of these bags, when they're loaded out, they tend to stand up well on their own. So not perfectly if the weight isn't evenly distributed, but they have a fairly wide bottom. It's pretty flat, and you can see here I'm just resting them and they're holding their ground well. I can access the organizational areas. So that's definitely a very useful feature that I'm looking for in a lot of bags these days. And as far as the capacity, the Aer Travel Pack 3 Small is listed at 28 liters, and the CTB26, as the name implies, would be 26 liters. And to me, they have a pretty similar capacity. You can feel a slight difference with the Aer because of some of the way that the organization is laid out, but generally they hold a pretty similar amount. Here you can kind of see them to compare the volumes side by side. The height is also pretty close. The CTB26 is maybe a smidge higher, but with these capacity, it's a versatile size that might feel a little bit big for EDC for some people. It's definitely a great minimal travel bag size for longer days out. I'm totally fine with this size, especially if it allows me to travel with just one bag. I'm always a fan of sort of this size range, and because of the silhouette that both of these have, they never feel overwhelmingly bulky. And I've been able to carry both of these onto a variety of domestic and international airlines and use them under the seat in front of me. Taking a look at the harness system, so far both bags have been really comfortable to wear. I've been a big fan of Aer's harnesses for a number of years now. They just have the style that I tend to prefer. So lots of padding on the strap that's really soft. They have the breathable mesh on the inside, to help prevent moisture from building up. The straps always have a great width. I really like the shape of the straps. One thing about the Travel Pack 3 is that it also has load lifters, so it's gonna allow you to, tweak how the bag sits on your shoulders and pull the weight closer to your back. For a bag of this size, I generally don't really need the load lifters. I'd almost prefer that it didn't have them, as it just adds additional stuff, and I wouldn't necessarily use them if they weren't there, I don't think. But still, some people might really like that. And then on the back paneling, it has the same padding, breathable mesh that's on the straps. It also has a nice air channel here in the middle to provide you with ventilation while you're walking around. So I always tend to lean towards harnesses like Aer's. The CTB26, however, is also very comfortable. I think one of the challenges with Evergoods' bags is depending on your height, the harness might not work quite as well for you. I've always been fortunate. I've really enjoyed their harnesses. The padding on them is not maybe quite as robust or soft as the one that's offered on the Aer bags, and it doesn't have the same air mesh. They do have their new breathable fabric, which has worked well, so just a different feeling. And then Evergoods, of course, is well known for their harnesses and how they sort of contour around your shoulders. They have this fabric that allows them to come out and also make sure that the bag feels comfortable even when you're wearing it with a laptop, which has always been good for me. particularly if you wear the bag a little bit higher. I know some people have had issues with the lower area of the bags digging into their lower back, but for me, haven't run into that, so I've been able to really enjoy the harness overall. It also has an adjustable and removable sternum strap. No load lifters on this one, so I tend to prefer that. I like the cleaner look and just the style of the shoulders. And then the back panel has also felt great. Same breathable material that Evergoods has been using in all their latest releases. I think it's worked well. It has a nice amount of padding. It's well distributed. You do have some air channels, not quite as deep as the one on the Travel Pack, but generally it still worked very, very well. And then both of these also have a luggage pass-through, which is a feature that I use more and more. I've come to appreciate it a lot, so it's something that I'm always looking for. I definitely prefer the implementation on the CTB26. It just has more space versus the strap that Aer uses. And then one of the biggest differences is that the orientation of the laptop compartment works better on the CTB26, so you can have it on your luggage and access the laptop area, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. Whereas with Aer's bag, you can place it on the luggage, but the laptop compartment is a little bit awkward to get to with how it's oriented. So that's something that I'm always trying to call out now. As the more that I travel with bags and a roller, the more I realize how prevalent and important that issue is to consider. And then jumping into the organizational options, these are two of the best layouts in my opinion. They offer a lot of variety as far as the pocketing, but it's really useful. And so Aer's is gonna have maybe some extra options, a little bit of additional organization, particularly for tech gear, but Evergoods offers plenty of pockets, and the volume that they provide for their pockets and just that functionality is some of the best of any bags that I've used. So starting off on the quick access front, both of them have a nice top quick access pocket. Big fan of these, especially when traveling. Just easy to reach down. I toss in a lot of the stuff that's in my pockets. On Aer's top quick access pocket, there's a nice amount of space. The inside is lined with a soft fleece to help prevent against scratching. So that's nice, particularly if you're using this to toss in your sunglasses, your phone, anything a little more delicate. One thing about this pocket is that it does eat into the main area a little bit, whereas Evergoods has this awesome pocket near the shoulder straps. Lots of just independent volume here. It's got a little bit more space, which I like. So even something a little larger, sunglasses cases, my headphones, they're gonna be able to fit in there very comfortably. And then on the front, Aer has, just a simple zippered compartment here that it's gonna be great for tossing in some simple items. It does offer a little bit of volume. It can start to get tight depending on how the rest of the bag is loaded out. So you'll hear me kind of calling that out as a theme as we go through the rest of the compartments of the bag. So you do have the option there. This front area has a little lanyard with a clip for your keys, multi-tool, but still, pretty simple compartment. Evergoods has a vertically oriented zipper here, as a lot of their pockets are meant to be used when you're carrying the bag by the handle. And so this is a great area with some internal organization and, more importantly, its own independent volume. So if the rest of the bag is full, this area still comes out, allowing you to take advantage of it. And then you have a zippered mesh compartment, a couple of slip pockets, and then like the Travel Pack 3 Small, you have a little lanyard with a carabiner for your keys. And then on the front of the CTB26, you have another quick access pocket, which I absolutely love. Just so much space. This is great for pouches. When I'm traveling, I'll put my liquids in here or my DOP kit. Very easy to get to, plenty of space, so pretty simple. On the Travel Pack 3, you have more of an admin style compartment. So still a lot of space. I really like that this goes all the way down to the bottom. So you almost have like a secondary clamshell area. Reminds me a little bit of the GR2. So that's something I'm always a fan of. Even if you don't use any of the organization that's in here, this is an excellent area to, like I mentioned with the CTB, toss in pouches, extra pair of shoes, jacket. So this provides a nice amount of flexibility, but then you also have the extra organization, a couple of large slip pockets on the bottom, slip pocket in the middle, some slots for a pen, a stylus, little elastic pockets. You have a zippered pocket for smaller items that you don't want getting lost, and then a tall slip pocket on the back. So again, just a couple of additional options, but I don't think that the space is quite laid out in the same way that the CTB has it. And then taking a look at the laptop compartments, this is pretty close. I think they both do a great job here. The CTB26 has the large zipper on the side. This is accessed easily when you're carrying this like a briefcase. When it's on the luggage pass-through, as I mentioned earlier, you have a padded sleeve that's meant for the laptop. It's suspended off the bottom of the ground, so it feels like your device is gonna be very well protected. You have the ability to secure it with a little Velcro strap to make sure that it's not slipping out. And then this compartment also has some extra space. So sometimes I'll place my tablet in there, documentation, folders. You can also use it as a hydration area that has a little pass-through that will allow you to thread a nozzle through the shoulder strap. So, you know, again, that crossover functionality. And so in general, it does a great job. Aer's laptop compartment is a top loader. So you place the bag down, you can reach down, grab it. The padding that's included here feels a little bit more robust. It also has a soft lining on the back to help prevent against scratching. It is suspended off the bottom of the ground. It doesn't have the same strap to secure it, but generally I haven't really had a need for that or any issues. Again, the orientation here is just the problem when you have this on the luggage pass-through, but if you have to place this down next to you, I actually think that this orientation is more convenient so I can just reach down and grab my device. Regardless, both of them do an excellent job of making me feel like my laptop is going to be very well protected from bumps and drops and anything else that I might run into throughout the day. And then on the Travel Pack 3, you have some additional space. You could fit maybe another tablet in here or some folders. I don't believe there's any additional slip pocket, but you do have a zippered pocket near the top that is going to be another great spot to just store your laptop charger, your mouse, any of those things that you're using as you're using your laptop. So that's great to see. And then on the quick access front, the Travel Pack 3 has one more pocket near the handle on the side. So this is another just nice bonus, easy area to reach in. I'll sometimes store my phone in here, my AirPods, some cables, a portable battery. So great to have just another option to kind of distribute everything throughout your bag. And then taking a look at the main compartment, both of these have a clamshell style opening that works very well. I've mentioned in many of my videos that I'm a fan of that for easier packing or just for day to day. It's just, I feel like it gives you a lot of flexibility. I also feel like clamshell bags can hold a little bit more. And so open both of these up and they have a pretty simple main compartment as far as the volume, just a bucket style area, no compression straps or anything like that. Plenty of space. Both of them are easily able to handle my normal packing cube setup. So in the CTB26, I have my Peak Design compressible cube, and then I place the Evergoods Civic Access pouch, 2 liters, just a placeholder, just to fill the bag out. In the Travel Pack 3, I have the Arkido packing cube, which is pretty close in size to the Peak Design, and then Aer's DOP kit. And with both of these, I could have placed some additional items in here. They weren't overly packed out, but just very comparable as far as the capacity that they have, and then just keeping things simple. They both have a lighter lining on the inside, which is nice to provide you with some additional visibility. You can see on Aer's bag, the top quick access pocket coming in there, so if it's full, it is going to take up some space. Whereas on the CTB26, you have some webbing on the back, so you can clip on additional accessories. And then in the Travel Pack, you have another zippered kind of hidden compartment off to the side. It's pretty small. I don't use this too much. You also have a hidden pocket for an AirTag, so having that tech focus again. And then with the CTB26, you have a little elastic sleeve or slip pocket here, which is going to be a good spot for a tablet or for separating other items out. So you don't have that in the Travel Pack, and it doesn't get in the way if you don't want to use it. So it's generally pretty nice to have, in my opinion. And then taking a look at the lids, both of these have some additional pocketing on the other side of the main compartment. And so Evergoods has the mesh zippered area, vertical zipper, continuing the theme of being able to access it from the same side as the laptop compartment, and nice independent volume. I've used this to hold pouches, underwear and socks if I'm traveling a little bit more minimally. And then you have a zipper compartment at the top with a nice amount of space, some internal slip pockets. So keeping things pretty simple, but very, very functional. I store some of my travel documentation, my wallet there while I'm just on the flight. And then on the Travel Pack 3, you do have a zippered mesh compartment. So pretty simple, just toss in a couple of things you don't want getting lost. And they also have this taller compartment here that could also work as a way to maybe separate out a jacket, dress shirts. So this is pretty spacious and tall, which makes it a very versatile and useful pocket. So different layouts as I've been talking about throughout the videos, but both of them will work very well depending on how you organize and what you need. And I think it's really gonna come down to, you know, the aesthetic preferences and whether you like something that's a little sleeker, more techy looking, or if you really do have more of a focus on providing some extra protection to your tech, just given the soft lining that's included in some of the areas on the Travel Pack 3 Small. But if that's not as important to you and you just want something that has a layout that is, you know, really optimized and very, very easy to use while still providing a very well-rounded functionality, or if, you know, you're planning to use a bag in the outdoors, and if you really, really want the dual external water bottle pockets, then, you know, this CTB26 is gonna be a great way to go. But regardless, whichever one you go with, you're gonna be getting one of the best potential bags that's currently on the market. And so that's it. Those are some of the similarities and differences between the Aer Travel Pack 3 Small and the Evergoods CTB26. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any questions on anything that we covered throughout the video or suggestions for similar comparisons or bags that I should feature on the channel in the future, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I'll make sure to include links in the description below to the dedicated reviews that I've done for each of these bags, as well as to some of the other roundup videos that I've done that feature both of these, as well as some of the other really great full-featured bags that I think are nice alternatives to these in a variety of sizes and styles. And as always, I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.